Hello guys, and you're welcome to Teens Connect, the platform for us to discuss anything and everything without fear or favor. I am Kofi, your host, and today I've got your favorite panelist. Achaji is back with a bang. Achaji, it's a pleasure to have you back.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Alright, thank you so much. We've got Reynald.
Hey guys.
Alright, and we've also got Anita.
Hi.
Alright. Today our resource person is Pastor Elom Edison, and I want to get you guys to get to know him better.
Pastor Elom Edison is a chaplain at Accra City Conference. Pastor Elom is a preacher, speaker, educator, and a mentor, an agent of change who speaks extensively on lifestyle ethics to youth groups nationwide and has a dramatic flair in exposing the dangers inherent in young people not developing themselves to their fullest potential. His top-notch, cutting-edge presentations makes him a sought-after speaker at conferences, university campuses, conventions, and churches nationwide. He has a passion for inspirational speaking, youth empowerment, marriage and relationship consultation, and civic engagement. Pastor Elom has been preaching since age 17, and his passion is just about equipping people to accomplish their mission in the world. His greatest joy is Eunice, his wife, and his two adorable sons.
All right, Pastor, you're welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you.
From your profile, I hear you really like driving. Did you grow up wanting to be an SCC driver or trotro driver?
Okay, not really, but then whenever I sit in a car, I would want to take the front seat to look at what the driver is doing. And I feel, how good it will be having the lives of all the passengers in your hand. Probably that's why I like to drive.
Okay, I see. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, this week I heard some very disturbing and troubling news. I heard Ghana was ranked as the second highest pornography viewers in the whole world. I just, what do you think about this?
We are all part.
We are all part. Who are you and who?
Oh, like, you see, when you ask people, they tell you, you know, but then we are all part of it. If we are not part of it, where did the viewers come from?
I see. How about you, Anita? What do you think about it?
Okay, honestly, I wasn't expecting Ghana to even be on the charts at the first place. Because it's like most people who find themselves in Ghana are either Christians or Muslims. And
so who are those watching the pornography?
I have no idea.
Is it a traditionalist?
They cried, they know your
I was really surprised when I heard it because I wasn't expecting it.
I see. Reynald?
Oh, to be honest, I didn't expect Ghana to be up there on the list, but then it was shocking.
It was really shocking. Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah,
but you know, has anyone ever encountered pornography accidentally?
Well, we all have.
We all have.
Yeah.
Just how did yours happen?
Okay, mine. Should I say it's accidentally? It was my friends. They started talking about this site. Called, I don't want to mention the name of the site, but then if you listen to the name, it doesn't sound like a pornographic site. It sounded like a high school something. And I had to search for it.
Gosh.
It was actually
Pornographic. I see. Anita?
Oh yes, so I was searching for something online and there was this advert that popped up. Yeah, full of porn, but then I didn't watch it.
I see. How about you, Reynald?
Oh, the same with Anita, like the ads just keep coming.
And that's what you have to say. Release the devil. But mine was very interesting. So, luckily for me, I didn't watch it, but somebody was mentioning a certain word. He said hentai. And I didn't know what hentai was. And we're in ICT lab. So I went to check hentai. I typed it on the ICT lab computer. And then the ICT teacher said, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And then that was when I knew that. Was actually pornographic. I was so scared. The whole day I was so scared. I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" I thought I was going to get into trouble because if I was not fortunate, the teacher could have easily reported me. But it wasn't my fault. I was hearing the word being passed around in class. I didn't know what it was. And I was searching on the internet during class, unfortunately. That also got into trouble. But luckily, the teacher didn't report on me. But it was a big trouble or something that could have really escalated. How about you, Pastor?
Yes, for me, I think as far as my memory can remember, let's say late junior high, okay, or even much younger than that, we were going to visit someone, and those were the times when there was nothing like internet, smartphones and all that. So there was this DVD thing that you slot, those discs.
Yeah.
So the moment we knocked, I think they didn't hear. So when I opened the door, I was the first to enter. Then I could see that thing on the screen. So the moment they saw that we were coming in, they turned it off. Yeah, and I tell you that image, I mean, it's been over 20 years now, but it's still stuck somewhere in the shelves
That night was all
of
over
my
my
mind. I mean,
Bent into your brain.
yeah. So I think that was my first exposure.
I see. But now let's look at the statistics. Let's go. It says 93% of boys and 62% of girls are exposed to internet pornography before the age of 18. 70% of boys have spent at least 30 consecutive minutes looking at online porn on at least one occasion. So it means if there's 3 boys over here, at least 2 of us have spent 30 consecutive minutes.
So I'm wondering the
What are you insinuating? I'm wondering which 2 it is. Whether it's been not or Chelsea or myself. But let's continue. If you have to go and confess to, I'll go and confess this evening. And then 35% of boys have done this on at least 10 occasions. 83% of boys have seen group sex on the internet. This is the one that interests me. 67% of children admit to clearing their internet history to hide their online activity, which means that there might have been some pornography mingled in there.
Yeah.
Now it says 79% of accidental exposures to internet pornography among kids takes place in the home. 56% of divorce cases involve one party having an obsessive interest in online porn. Now let's where it gets interesting. It said 2 of the top 100 websites on the internet are porn sites. 25% of search engine requests each day are pornography related, approximately 70 million per day. And then one last one says 2/3 of all pornography, 1/3 of pornography use is from women. But I thought women didn't watch porn.
Oh, someone.
I see. I just see.
women watch porn.
If there's a school in Ghana that watches porn, which school will it be?
The one that they wear violet.
Science.
Fatima Girls Senior High School.
Really?
AKA man site.
Actually,
Capital letters.
side girls will call it Tracy outside.
Side girls, they watch porn.
How do you know?
It's there. Side girls, they watch porn.
It's defamatory. You know you get sued.
Why would they sue me? I'm saying the truth. We'll go to court. We'll prove it.
Hey, actually,
Let's go and check their ICT lab search history.
I see. But why do people even watch porn in the first place? Does anyone have an idea why people watch porn?
Satisfy their need.
What kind of need is it?
I mean, right now he's feeling he has sexual feelings right now. There's nothing he can do right now. There's nobody around him right now.
Back in school, we used to laugh at people who watch porn.
Yes.
So I went to do some research, and I realized that porn, when people watch porn, like the brain releases this
Dopamine.
what do I call it, dopamine, yeah, which is very like, it gives you this feeling of satisfaction.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what makes it addicting.
Okay.
Addictive.
Anita, how about you?
I also think people watch porn out of curiosity.
Really?
Yeah, maybe they hear someone talking about it or something. Or maybe they heard that someone has watched it, or maybe someone was involved in a pornographic movie or something. And they have no idea what it is like. They want to watch and
Let me
see
check it out.
how it's like. And maybe you see people, as he said, when you finish watching porn, you start feeling some way. Yeah.
The leaks. People watch leaks forgetting that it's also porn.
Yeah.
So
When you say leaks, what do you mean by leaks?
When, like, for example,
Sex tapes?
Yeah, sex tapes. They go and watch it forgetting that it's also porn.
I see.
So they didn't watch it because I want to watch porn. I heard that this one 60 has come. I'm going to see it.
I see. So now you're bringing to life something. So let's define. Since we might be watching pornography without knowing it, what exactly is pornography, Pastor Edison?
You see, taking it from where he left off, that it releases this thing. For me, the reason why people watch porn, okay, is because of this insatiable passion that we have. And we don't know that in itself, it is as addictive as the way sometimes we say people are addicted to their phones. So every time they want screen time and all that. The same way you feel when someone sends you a message and you are eager to know it. You wake up first thing in the morning and then you want to check who has sent you what message. The same dopamine is actually produced, and then it makes you feel some kind of high, like the way people, when they take drugs, they feel high, and when the feelings subside, they don't want to go back to it again. So that's what he was talking about, the addiction part. But you see, pornography can be defined a number of ways. Some people define it as a representation of sex in films, statues, in books, and other mediums. So it's a representation, and I like the word representation because it's not really what it is, but those who are role playing, they are just acting it out. And so for me, it's very dangerous because it is not the real thing. And what I think it does is to rob young people of the future that they are supposed to have, because it is only representing it. And so it becomes a misrepresentation of what sex is supposed to be. So just like the movies you watch, they are not real. How many movies are real? Okay, sometimes only few movies you say this is a true story. But all the others, they are make-believe. And so pornography is also a make-believe of what sex is. And if you are exposed to it for the first time, it becomes your image of what sex is. And it is a misrepresentation of what sex is. So let me say that's one way people define it. Another way that some also define it is, we call something etymology. That is, if you want to understand something, you break down the words. So pornography is actually two words, porn and then the graphic. It comes from the Greek word porneia, the first part, and then the graphy is to write. Right, so for someone to produce that movie, you need to have the script for it. Okay, and it is interesting for you to know, Kofi, that the same word porneia is also the Bible's rendering of the word fornication. Okay. So if Paul says flee fornication, the word used can be read flee porneia. You understand? So that the root word of pornography is actually a form of fornication. Okay, so others also define it as that word porneia is the word where they have prostitutes. Okay, prostitutes from. So it all has to do with sexual sin. Okay, pornography. Yeah. So that's what I think.
But why is it so popular among teens especially? Actually, why is it popular among teens?
Why don't it be popular among adults? They are married, they have sex partners.
I don't think we want to delve into that because there are some adults who are married and still watch porn. But why teens?
Because teens, and secondly, it's on the internet. Teens are associated with the internet, so it's obviously going to be with teens and
Anita,
we are more exposed.
Yeah. Anita, how about you? Why is it popular among teens?
Okay, so teens of these days are...
We teens of these days, like you are an adult.
We teenagers of today, we are mostly on social media. And when you're on social media, sometimes you come across these things and we can't stand it. Like, we can't overlook it. That causes us to tap and then watch it.
Okay, yeah. I see. How about Reynolds? Why popular among teens?
Well, I would say, like, that's the addiction. It's like it's not something like you want to do. You are led by curiosity, then like a trap. Mm-hmm. You enter, then you can't come out, and then like that's it for you.
See, but why is it so difficult to talk about porn in society? Why do you find it difficult to talk about porn?
Stigma.
The society frowns on it. Anything the society frowns on, it's so hard to talk about it.
I see, but I'm sure when you were talking about your pornographic experiences, you are wondering if your parents will be watching this. What will they say? But
no, but you see, Kofi, talking about porn being popular among young people, people assume that it's a guy's thing. Okay, but really it's not. And the reason I believe a lot more ladies watch, but because we don't know, and the stats will not capture it, because ladies have this policy of not to kiss and tell. Guys would kiss a lady and they don't have a problem coming to tell the other folks about it.
Oh, this one,
Okay,
they are clear.
they share their sexual experiences, but ladies are not like that. They want to keep to their, to themselves such things. So it is the same with porn. They really watch it, but then they will not come and tell. Okay, and you know, when it comes to these things, guys like to share amongst themselves. But a lady will not show another lady a porn site, like, you understand. They will not do it, but then they actually watch it, a lot of times. But you see, the reason we don't talk about it is because sometimes we think that in talking about it, we are exposing young people too, so that we see you guys as innocent because you are dressed like you have not seen before and all of that. You understand? So sometimes some adults feel that, okay, let us let sleeping dogs lie. So why would we want to introduce you to something that you understand? So I want to believe that is one of the main reasons why you don't hear people talk about it. Even how many of our sermons in churches address these sexual sins. Talk about pornography. I barely hear about it. And I think about 2 years ago, I was preaching at one church in Accra here, and the caption alone, the way people were, so the caption was sex, how will Jesus have it?
Oh, yeah. Pastor, that was very bold.
Sure. And I think a lot of people had their stones in hand, waiting to hear the message before they stoned me. You understand? But it was actually about sex and how, Satan is using it to destroy families, young people, and all of that. And I think that church, that time, had the highest number of views on Facebook that particular Sabbath. Why? Because people don't want to talk about it, but everyone wants to know about it. You understand? And I believe that's why we need to use some of the platforms that we have to address these issues. We shouldn't let sleeping dogs, the dogs are already awake. So we need to talk about it. Sure.
Yeah, but growing up, where did they start? I don't know if anyone was addicted, but there was this game, I don't want to mention the name of the game, that people used to play a lot, and then there was the part of the nightclubs and stuff. A friend told me how her brothers used to suck her. If I let me mention, it was GTA. When they go to GTA strip clubs, the brothers will suck her out of the room just so she doesn't see it. But you see, it starts from a young age. Sometimes it doesn't start from pornography, but actually, what are some of the stuff on the internet that we see that may not necessarily be pornographic, but have some suggestions of pornography to them?
Music videos.
Okay.
And like what you said, the GTA game.
And what else? How about social media?
Social media. Right now, most of the social media platforms are strict on the kind of things you post. If you post something, they might block your account. So
okay,
we don't.
How about private messages, streaks?
Yes, streaks. Streaks. That's true.
I think I'm lost here. What's streaks?
Okay, so Snapchat. You know Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
So streaks is actually basically videos I sent to you to let you know what I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay.
And you can watch it once.
Okay.
You can replay.
You can replay it, but it's only two. You can only replay it twice. And that's all. If you finish replaying it, that's all. You can't save it on your phone. So people use that as an advantage to send pornographic things to people. I think people, the video, they'll be like, streak me boobs.
Wow, interesting.
They streak people, and once that one is a more safer way of sharing nude pictures than the WhatsApp. Because when they streak it, once you save it, I know Snapchat will tell me that you saved it. So I'll know that you have the picture on your phone and I can get it to you.
Wow, interesting. I'm hearing this for the first time. So you're also exposing me to...
Even recently, I got streaks from, I don't know what she is, I don't know the person. She streaked me her whole body, but I didn't mind it. I didn't reply to the streak.
But you know what? This issue about porn, it's talking about the streak thing. There are some things that we don't label as porn, but they really are. Okay, so that we will try to dissociate the porn as in the illicit banned materials, okay, from what we call erotic. Okay, erotic are the broadly tolerated ones, so that you are watching this soap operas and then start with a kiss. then they begin to kiss passionately. And you think that because it's within a married couple, it's fine, but it arouses something in you who is not married. And talking about the stats, I read somewhere that within a week, from the hours of 4 to 8, between 4 to 8, okay, you would see frames of that 148 sex scenes if you sit on TV. Okay, no specific station apart from Hope Channel Ghana. I mean, the rest. Okay, you would see 148. That translates to 592 in a month. Okay, I think someone earns less than 500 Ghana cedi a month. And then the year, when you add it all up, you get 7,104 sex scenes in a year from just 4 to 8. I'm not talking about those 10 p.m. programs that, I mean, they think that you are asleep. And so they can show all of those things. And these things have a way of transporting and implanting things in your mind. And especially for us guys, because of the kind of photographic memories that we have, things are able to stay in there. It's like we have some shelves. I mean, they have shelves, okay, in their mind, where they have labeled stuff. And that is a kind of the box which they cherish so much. Okay, they cherish that box so much. And from time to time, I mean, they go in there to fetch and then, I mean, reminisce on all of this, and it's very, very dangerous. And so we need to be careful of some of the movies that we watch, especially the series. Talk about Game of Thrones and all of those other movies. It's very dangerous, and they know sex sells, okay, and so they implant those scenes within the movie to draw you to, I mean, watch. I know a guy who will not watch porn, what you may call the hardcore porn. Okay, but then movies like that, sometimes he will be replaying those parts alone. Why would you want to see? And Kofi, maybe if you allow me, I have a question for I mean people to think about. Why would you want to watch two people having sex? The next question for you is that would you want to be seen? Okay, will you want people to see your sexual act with the opposite sex? Is this something you feel comfortable about? Okay, and so, I mean, maybe in the end we need to think about these things, okay, to reassess our attitude towards pornography and all that.
I see. But the question that I just asked, why would we want to watch two people having sex? Like people, you are peeping through their window, you know. And the question is, will you like people to also peep through your window? And it's something you really ought to consider. We'll leave you on that as we go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to delve even deeper into this topic. Please stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. And just before we even go, I want to ask, what are the legal issues surrounding pornography? It came to mind that could you get into trouble with the law for pornography? This one goes to you, Pastor, because you are a bit more older.
Okay, so two things. I know that people who produce, okay, would have to have a license to be able to produce it.
Okay, so they give porno license?
Yes, like the way motion pictures, Sky, what have you, all of those movie productions, yeah, there are those who have also gone for the license for it. And I want to believe, the thing is that if you read the history of how, I mean, pornography has actually, been through the ages as early as the 17th century, they did not have screens like we do, but they had sculptures, okay, and all of these things, especially in India and other parts of the world and all that. And then they came to the graphic part, the writings. So there are books, okay, and some felt that for medical professionals, some are called sexologists, people who teach about sex. You understand? So they need to have video elements that would help people to understand and learn the act of sex.
Wow.
And all of that.
People go to school to learn sex.
Oh,
I have to do this course since I'm a science lesson.
Anyway, so they actually do. And we have people who take people through sex therapies. Okay, for instance, some time ago I had one guy who had this issue, and it was a novel issue to me. Novel as in, it was the first time such an issue came to my desk. And then he had a very small penis, okay, and then he felt shy about it. So the question is that, the issue is that, so Pastor, now people, my guys laugh at me and all of these things, and they make fun of me. So if I want to date, do I tell the lady about it, and if she leaves, what do I do? And and all of these, you understand? What if she says she would want to see it, if it can impregnate me and all that? So these are all issues about it. So there are people who take people through counseling when they have these issues. There is this thing they call Kama Sutra, which I think it is Indian, where they have videos. They call it adult movies, where they have videos where they teach people the act of sex and all of those things. But you see, the question is that who taught Adam and Eve how to make Cain and Abel and all that? Try and error. Yeah. But you see, it is a natural thing. It's a natural thing that you don't need someone to teach you. So people have license for it. But the one that is banned is what we call child pornography. So that even those who have the license to produce and reproduce, you don't have to involve kids, okay, under certain age. It is banned, okay, and I believe the reason is that it can breed what you call pedophilias, aged people who are drawn towards young people. So you hear of an old man raping a baby and all of those things. It leads to those things. So there are legal issues anyway. And I think finally, you all know of, is it Equiapim Polo?
Yeah.
So early this year or sometime last year, where she was jailed, she and the son issue and all that. Yes. So there are legal issues. Even your own child, you can't just show yourself naked too, because the thing is that whenever you do that, and it is robbing the person of their innocency. You understand? You're exposing them because they are not old enough to say that I like to see this or I don't like to see it. Just like those of you who have pop-ups on your phone. You decide whether or not I want to watch it. But then there was no discussion between the Kapim Polo and the son that, hey son, I want to show you stuff. You understand? So it becomes illegal. So your own son, you can't do that. So there are legal issues around this.
Wow.
Pornography.
But the way I just wants to be a sexologist, Pastor, what are the requirements? You have to do biology and chemistry.
Anyway, it is not something that I have really, looked into, because it's not, an area. Although I talk extensively about relationships, marriage, and all of those things, even sex, but it's not something that I've. But you know, there are programs. It falls under the broader career of counseling. Okay, so it's a branch of counseling.
I know what to study. Counseling, they go specialize. But if the Bible doesn't explicitly say pornography is wrong, what makes it bad? Because in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. But there's no thou shalt not watch pornography. So what makes it biblically wrong? Achezi, what makes, but is it even a sin in the first place?
It is a sin, and it is wrong.
It is a sin?
Yes. It is wrong because watching pornography is actually fornication.
How?
I don't know how to explain it, but when you watch pornography, when you watch pornography, you feel like you are in it. Imagine yourself in it.
We are talking from experience, I'm getting scared.
It's actually, you imagine yourself in it. So watching pornography is actually fornication.
I see.
And that's why it's a sin.
I see. How about Anita?
Oh yeah, the Bible says stay away from all sexual sin. So yeah, I feel like watching pornography is sexual immorality. So then it's no good. Since the Bible didn't say it directly, but then if you think critically about it, pornography is under sexual immorality.
I see. Reynolds?
Well, I would say it's a sin for two reasons. Well, what's pornography lures you to go and do? Like when you're done watching it, then also, like what's porn makes you do? What's porn makes you do? Like when you're done watching it, what do you go and do? And also in the process of watching it, with the thoughts you get, and also it's in the Bible, you shouldn't avail yourself to temptation. when watching pornography, you're like, yeah, temptation, come get me. Yeah.
I see. Pastor, technically, what makes pornography a sin?
Okay, I like that you use the word technically. Okay, so number one, the Bible says the married bed is sacred, it's undefiled, and all that. Now, we need to put sex in its place. Sex, number one, is supposed to be within the confines of married people. Now, consider the porn actors you find around. Okay, especially those of you who have been exposed to this hardcore porn and all of those things. There are a lot of, nasty things that they do. And it is not representative of what marriage is supposed to be. Number two, you may claim that it is not emphatically written in the Bible that thou shalt not watch porn. But gleaning from some of the writings of Paul, like in 2 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22, where he says, abstain from all appearances of evil. Paul could have just said, abstain from evil. But why did he use that word appearance? So that what appears to be evil, sometimes it may be a gray area. Okay, I'm not sure. Is this right or wrong? Then why don't I abstain from it in the first place? Although the Bible is not saying abstain from what it does to me. My conscience is not dealing well with me. So why don't I abstain from it altogether? Another case in point is this. When you read 2 Corinthians, I think chapter 7, it tells us about how the man does not have control over his own body, and the woman also does not have control over his own body. And if I want to expand that for you, it means that even within the confines of married couples, the only person who is supposed to make you happy is your other. So that I can't by myself, and I should not have sexual satisfaction without my wife. It is illegal before God. Think about it carefully. So that if I have something to watch, that will make me have that feeling married couples are supposed to have. It is wrong. You are robbing your future wife. I don't mean you, I mean. But then whenever you do that, you are robbing your future wife. What only here is supposed to be for you. You understand? I think Ronald, right? Reginald. Okay, those days, if you were with us, you would be a pen. Reynolds was a pen that we used to write. Don't mind me. So you see, it's about what it can also lead to. In the prayer Jesus taught the disciples, he said, lead us not into temptation. So that anything that will lead you into that temptation, you need to avoid it. So let's think about it. What does porn lead people to? It leads to one very serious addiction called masturbation. Masturbation. Anyone who is an addict to porn, it will lead to, because the moment you are engaged in it, because of what it will incite in you, you would want to continue where porn stopped for you, and you'd have to masturbate. And masturbation will also lead to impotency, especially in men. Oh yes, it leads to impotency in men. And if you have had friends who are able to confide in you, those who, back in the day when I was in the university, there was one guy, he was so addicted to masturbation that during the times that we were in class, lectures, I'm talking about university lectures, almost every hour he would have to go to the washroom and masturbate before he would come back to sitting. It was that serious. And that could actually lead to sexual impotency. Because you see, your body is built in a way not to actually withstand that one. And I mean, you may not be able to appreciate it now because I believe you are all virgins. But my wife de-virginized me some few years ago. So the energy it takes for you to release. Am I giving you too much information?
No. Want to know more?
So the energy you actually release, according to science, it's like you have walked or run 7 miles. Okay, maybe you had 9 miles. That's what I was told.
9 miles.
9 miles. So imagine if every hour this guy is actually running a marathon.
About 140.
9 miles.
14.4 kilometers.
Exactly. So you give your body so much pressure, and imagine for guys, your penis is where all the blood vessels end. So it takes so much energy from you. And that's why we need to be careful of watching porn, because it leads to other things that you have not bargained for. Because sin will make you pay more than you budgeted for.
14.4 kilometers.
Sure.
Every hour.
Yes. See, and it was that serious. And he actually says that he began masturbating when he started watching pornography.
Wow.
So that is what it leads to. Okay. Yeah. There are, other reasons I could give, but I think these things are very sacred. Sex is sacred, and we should place it in its right container. Okay, which is within the confines of marriage. So pornography, the Bible frowns, against it. And whenever people were involved in those days, even in the Bible, Old Testament time, we have something we call a temple cult, where people will go and have sex inside the church. Yes, if you read the Old Testament, it is there. Sometimes God will rain fire on them, ask the children of Israel to kill all of those people and all that, and talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. You see, what we do not realize is that this porn introduces you, and for any young man or any young person watching me, the reason why you need to desist from it, I was talking about something when we started, but because now we are there, so let me hit on it. You are supposed to have your sanity when you enter into marriage, and porn presents to you a falsehood, so that because they are movie actors and all that, you watch that and you are expecting that in your marriage your wife will be behaving the way that porn star was, and your husband will be behaving the way, but they have taken some drugs that will make them, go the extra mile. Talking about 9 miles. Okay, and so you would have certain expectations from your spouse because of what you have seen in the movie. Just like the mild one is when you watch those soap operas and all that, you want your guys to be romantic, walk through the rain for you and all of this, which will never happen. The same way when it comes to sex, when you are exposed to porn, you don't feel okay with whatever you get from your spouse, because you have been exposed to something more, which is not the reality of what is supposed to be. So it's very it's something very dangerous, and we should make sure we, and now even in cartoons,
Animation.
yes, animations, they are there. Sure. And so for me, I'm very careful even the kind of things my kids watch. So everything that they watch, I have downloaded, even learning aids. They don't watch TV like usual TV. If they're watching anything that is not what I have downloaded for them, then it's possibly Hope Channel. You understand? So, and I have to go through all of it, whether Tom and Jerry, whatever it is. I have to make sure I have watched it to see that there is nothing like that, so that, because I will be blamed in future if I introduce and expose my kids to something that they are not supposed to know at the time. And the beautiful thing about sex is this, talking about porn. If you are a virgin and you enter into marriage virgin, no matter what you get, that is what becomes your normalcy. Okay, no matter what you get, how brief. Okay, you know we have sermonette and we have sermon. Okay. You don't need a whole sermon to be okay, even if all you have is a sermonette, because that is what you are used to. That is what you are introduced to. You are fine with it. But the moment another person has been introduced to those porn stars and all of those things, it creates problems. I've been introduced to something, I need more. Okay, you are also, introduced to something that I cannot meet you halfway, and it creates problems for you. And that's why you need to watch carefully. Okay, yeah.
But Pastor, you've mentioned how pornography affects your future spouse. Well, some of us, you're not getting married, God willing, to the next 10, 15 years. So let's put that on hold and come to the now. How does it affect your relations with your friends and your siblings, consumption of pornography?
Okay, so for your friends, what it does is that you become distant from them, because it's anyone who is exposed, okay, who begin to frequent porn sites, you are addicted but you don't know. Okay, and it's a gradual process. So the moment you are addicted to porn, you become distant from your friends. You don't enjoy their company because they cannot give you the excitement that porn is able to give you. So we are all having a conversation. We are here having a beautiful conversation. Then or you just leave. You find your within the confines of your own privacy, and then you go and then watch it. You understand? And it's also, I mean, have a way of you begin being a bad influence on your friends if you are addicted to it. If you watch it, for instance, that word that they were spreading around in class. You see, that is how sin is. Sin is very infectious. Okay, you don't want to sin with other people, so you don't want to engage. I mean, other people in your own
Everyone
sin.
wants company.
Exactly. So you don't hoard it, but then you also share with other people so that it becomes normal to you. Okay, everybody is doing it, so now it has become our thing. It's not my thing. It's our thing. Understand? So for me, that's how it affects friends. Talking about family. One thing that it does is that it can break families. I'm not even talking about married couples. No, I'm talking about brother, sister, and all of those things. So that if you know that your sister is the one who is a blabbermouth, who can't keep your secret, but always want to tell mommy and daddy the thing that you are doing, you begin to become distant from them. Worst off, what is even serious is that there are very young people who are naive. When they are exposed to these things because mommy and daddy think that that is what we need to help us, I mean, like form of sex education. I know one guy who, the father had it on a pen drive and it was in the TV. So he just went, he opened, and then he also saw it. And that was the first time. So you see how a parent is introducing the children to it. If you're not careful, when you watch it and become excited, you become aroused. No matter who it is, whether your sister or whoever, you don't mind. And it causes incest.
Hey.
Yes, incest among, I mean, siblings. Because for them, they don't really know who is, I mean, they are not matured in a way to know that this is my sister. And I'm talking about young people, okay, not you. Very young people who think that, and especially when within our time in Accra, where you don't have everyone living in a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, and you have to share a room with your brother or your sister. And they think you are small, so, I mean, you are innocent, but they have no idea what these young people are doing. And on a lighter note, a father wanted to teach the son, I think, a 12-year-old, no, 10-year-old, about sex. He felt it was time because of a conversation he overheard. He was like, I mean, let me use your name, Kofi. I want to talk to you about sex. And the boy asked, what do you want to know? Wow. You understand?
So what do you want to know?
So he is rather going to school the father about sex.
Wow.
So it can cause incest. And sometimes you may not hear it, but you hear that a brother and a sister have a child. So
are they cousins?
You heard, and all of those things. So it's very serious. Porn affects families. It affects your relationship with your friends and all that.
Wow, I see. But well, since we know that between porn and fornication, you're not actually having it. So shouldn't porn be a better alternative to fornication? Like for example, this e-cigarettes, the vape pens, is not actually smoking. You are just, you know, it's electric, so it's not as bad. So shouldn't it be the same thing, porn and fornication? You're not actually having it. So shouldn't it be a better alternative, actually?
Porn leads you to having it, so you shouldn't even do it.
Yeah, but I mean, there are some people who have watched pornography for years and have not actually fornicated before, so shouldn't it be a better alternative?
Mind you, Christ said that fornication is not only about the act, even the thoughts.
Yes.
So,
I see. So now, the big one is, how do people get out of pornography addiction, actually?
Don't buy data for 1 month.
But then after the 1 month, you can buy and watch.
Probably after that 1 month, you don't feel like watching again.
probably.
Probability.
Wait, not. Let's forget about not buying data. How about you? What are your thoughts on breaking a pornography addiction?
Or find something else to do.
Really?
Play. If you think you have too much data, play a game. watch a series, do something.
YouTube. You can go to YouTube. Actually, YouTube doesn't allow pornography.
Clickbait. Hi.
Yes, so you can go to YouTube all the time. If you have plenty data, YouTube wastes data. You can go there. It doesn't allow pornography too, so you can just be there.
I see. Anita.
Okay, I feel like you should open up to someone because you can't do this on your own and you can't keep it to yourself forever. Like it's disturbing you and everything. You're getting addicted gradually. So me personally, I feel like you should talk to a trusted adult or maybe you see a counselor or something. Just open up to someone so the person can help you out.
Pastor.
Okay, so
yeah, I will know before I come to
okay.
Pastor.
Being more straightforward, there are some apps that help you block some sites on your phone. So you activate it like with your phone or your PC or something, you can't access a particular site. I think that's also very helpful.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so 4 things. I think they have scratched some of the surface of what I intended to say. But I think what should come first is that we need to see porn addiction, okay, as a spiritual problem first. Because every form of sin is about the enemy trying to lead us away from God. So it is a spiritual problem and we need to pray about it. It is not something that, you need willpower to overcome. You need real power. And that power only comes from God to break some of these chains that you have. The second thing is that we need to have parental control kits. I think he mentioned one where, you need to block some of these sites and then avoid the use. If you know that, you see, for some people, it's not that the idea is that they chance on it and then they will, but they actually feed on it. They go for it themselves. So if you know that one of the parental control is to avoid the use of a smartphone. So that what will you use a smartphone for? Rather than, go on WhatsApp and because of your data, things will be popping up. Why don't you go for a YAM phone so that you can talk to your friend? And it's a form of discipline. Okay, and one thing I want to say is that whenever you empty a vessel, you need to replace it with something better. So that if you are not watching porn, what are you watching? Your eyes are still curious. Your mind wants something to fill it up. So you need to replace that one with something inspirational and all that. And then as you mentioned, you need to see a therapy. But a therapist and go through therapy. And whilst you are doing that, one thing that helps, that I have 2 people who have actually confessed that it is one of the greatest instruments that help them come out, is to have an accountability partner. Someone who you can talk to about it, not just a counselor, because that one will be within a formal setting. But if you have a friend who is godly enough, who will be your accountability partner, that will mean that the person will be always checking up on you. And you'll be accounting to the person, hey, for how long have you been able to stay off? A week. Okay, fine. Then you cheer up. The person will be helping you. And when you go back to it, you need to tell the person that the person will be helping you and all of those things. It doesn't necessarily have to be an age mate. It can also be another person, but someone who you can be informal about. Okay, and it actually helps. Yeah.
Wow, I see. So, I think we have all the tips on avoiding porn addiction for those who are addicted. But let's take ourselves to the third person. If you have a friend who is addicted to porn, Reynolds, how do you approach the person telling him that is wrong?
Well, I believe that can be very simple because for you to know that your friend is addicted to porn, it means you're already very free with each other. So then you can account for the person, as Pastor said.
Okay, so how do you approach a friend? Tell them that, hey, what you're doing, it has this and this and this side effects, as we've said over here.
Well, you can just take it down to like what's the cost? What's like the cost? You have a friend who's constantly watching porn, and be like, you know that you buy a lot of data because you watch porn. It's eating up your money and all that. Like you start like some basic things. Then when the person seems to give you that chance, then you delve deeper and talk about God and.
Tracy, have you ever caught somebody or in school or anything of that sort?
It was once.
Really?
I didn't see it myself. The boys came to me that they are watching in the other class.
I see. But how would you tell them that it's wrong?
Honestly, I'm the type who say joking. Charlie, you for sure know that I'm the type who say joking.
Okay.
I've not really done it before, telling my friend that what you are doing is wrong. Like in a serious way, having conversation with me that stop it. I've not done that before.
I see. Anita, how about you?
Okay, so if I have a friend who is addicted to porn, I'll talk to the person about it, but then not in public because the person won't feel comfortable. So yeah, where a lot of people are not around, I'll sit the person down and talk to the person. Probably the person does not know the effects yet. So then I'll tell the person about the effects and I'll try to advise the person. I know experience is the best teacher, even though I'm not experienced. I'll try, I don't know, but then I'll try to advise the person. I'll tell the person to take his or her mind off the pornography and then engage in activities that will engage him or her so that like he or she will take the mind from the pornographic stuff.
All right. Pastor, how do you tell them?
So, Kofi, people become receptive to such counsels when they don't feel judged. Okay, so you need to let them know that you're not out to judge them or to make them feel that they would be the first to enter into hell. They'll start burning first and will burn longest. Okay, but then you make them know that the reason why you are telling them this is because you have their interest at heart. And there's a thing with, it's a marketing strategy actually. Whenever a person knows what is there, what is in there for me, they will buy into it. And the same way, when you want someone to stop, if you're able to let them know the side effects, what it can lead them into, not necessarily to cause fear and panic, but then when they know the downside of these things, it's easy for them to come out. And the same strategy is what Seventh-day Adventists use when we are proclaiming the health messages like clean and unclean. You don't only go by the Bible says don't eat pork, but we go with the science. What is the germs and the infections and the diseases that it brings along? So if you're able to know the downside, that like number one, it will drain you of your data. That's money. The screen time will waste your time. Where you're supposed to study, read your books, and pass your exams, you are spending those days. So when they know how it will lead them and how it will destroy their bright futures, I think they can come out of it.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm sure even from what Pastor Elon said, we've learned between the difference between a sermon and a sermonette, so many other stuff. Today I really enjoyed having this discussion because it's something that is going on. Even 92% of boys have been exposed to porn. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we need to guard ourselves against it. It's a pleasure having you on our show, Pastor. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
My wife.
Okay.
I love this lady so much. She's giving me two beautiful boys. And I hope she actually gives me a girl. And I'm not sure why you brought just a lady. Next time, bring more ladies, okay?
I love Lucy
so to my wife Eunice and my two boys, Ethan and Evan, 4-year-old, 2-year-old. And those are not just their ages, but the time that they wake up at night. And once they are awake, we all have to wake up as well. So, I mean, God bless them for supporting me.
All right. It's been a pleasure having you guys on. Does anyone want to give a shout out? Actually,
yeah, my parents, my friends.
Your parents, your friends. Anita?
Yeah, my parents and my siblings.
Okay, you guys are all Reynolds.
All my homies.
All your homies, all right. So it's been a pleasure having you once again. We've been blessed by this episode. We know what to do to avoid pornography. We know the consequences, how it could ruin our friendships and make us so addicted. Let's try to avoid this and stay healthy. The Delta variant and many other variants, now there's even the Mu variants. We need to be careful. COVID is still real. And so we see we are wearing our masks. Please wear your mask as you go out and avoid the spread of the virus. Stay home, stay safe, and stay blessed. God bless you.